What is up, everyone? stonepost34, also known as Greg. Someone said, why don't you say your name? I don't know. That is kind of weird. Bringing you more of growing up with Greg. This is a story about me sneaking out. Actually, there's a couple stories here. And I'm going to kind of get, the first one's not really a story, but kind of tell you what I did in my younger years. And when I say younger, I was out of high school. But so you're like, well, that's not sneaking out. Well, in my family, that kind of was sneaking out. Through college, I lived with my parents in their basement. Kind of lame, I know. But they made a deal with me. They said, we'll buy you a car if you stay in the house for college. And I'm like, okay, deal. Not that big of a deal. Had a lot of friends, and so it didn't really cramp my style too much, maybe a little bit. So anyway, the first story about sneaking out is just to kind of give you an idea about my parents' house. They had what we call here a daylight basement or a garden level basement. So there's like basically a raised basement. That's where I lived. I had my own little room and a little family room, kind of like my own little apartment. And they had these windows. So the windows came up, and basically if you open the window, you'd be right at ground level. So that's where I was. So what I used to do, and if my kids did this, I'd probably kick their butt, I would sneak out to go see my girlfriend. Well, obviously you can't really like take the car. My parents, I had a 280Z Datsun, 1978. You guys are like, oh my God, that's old. Yeah, that is pretty old. That was my car. It was almost a classic back then. But basically what I would do was sneak out, and I'd run to her apartment. It was only about 1.5 miles, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So didn't have cell phones or anything, so I couldn't really text her and be like, I'm coming over at 12:45 or whatever. So what I would do is run over there, hang out, chill out. We'd hang out for a while, and then she'd drive me back about 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd come back, and she'd drop me about a block away and sneak back into my room. And we did that we dated for about 2 years, year and a half. So we did that quite a bit. My parents would kill me if they knew I did that, so don't tell them. So anyway, just to give you an idea, we did that quite a bit. It was funny. It was harmless, but I was in college. I'm kind of like, you know what? You guys kind of forced me into this awkward position, dangled the carrot. I took the carrot, which was the car, and kind of got cheated out a little bit of that college experience. I would recommend to you guys and gals, if you go to college, try not to live at home. I think there's so many fun things you can do, legally fun things, and things that will enhance your college experience by not living at home. So here is the funny story. This actually has nothing to do with the girlfriend. This has to do with me going out. This was my very first year in college, and I worked retail. So I basically worked till about 10 o'clock at night most nights. And then we had to shut everything down. So it was like 10:20 before we left. And we always hung out in the parking lot and drank some beer afterward. So just like any other, I think it was a Friday, we go out to the parking lot and we hang out, we chill out, and it's about 1 o'clock and head on home. So had quite a few beers. I think I had about a 6-pack. That was my freshman year in college. And next thing I know, I get home. I'm okay. Probably shouldn't. Yeah, I was okay to drive. I wasn't great, but I was okay. So I get home, and my parents are there. I see him. My dad's up watching a movie. My mom's asleep on the couch, and I gotta tell you, I didn't tell you this. My parents haven't drank since I was in elementary school, and still don't drink, which I totally respect that. So they're on the couch. I'm like, man, I have to really go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm trying to do the sly thing, walk by my parents without them being able to smell my breath, So they're like, how was your night? I'm like, good. We just kind of hung out and whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. Well, and my dad goes, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I have some chores for you. I'm like, cool. We'll talk to you later. So I head down in my room. So I'm down in the basement, and the layout is the room under the family room where my parents are watching TV is my room. Okay? Now, they also have, they still live there. They have a bay window that juts out over the back area along the back of the house, which is where my room faces. And so, I get to bed. I'm laying in bed, and I swear it's like 15 minutes later. I can still hear the TV upstairs. I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to go to the bathroom again. And I'm like, what do? I don't want to go back upstairs and alert to them that I've been drinking something and I have to go to the bathroom twice in a matter of 20 minutes or so, 15 20 minutes. So I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna sneak out the window, and I'll just use the little garden in the backyard. I'll just use that because there's a garden out by my window. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I'll do. So I pop the screen, pull the screen back into the room, set it up against the wall, ever so carefully slide the wood window up. It's a single hung window. Slide it up. Now I have about a 2.5 foot opening to crawl through. Not a big deal. I can do that. So I get the chair over. I need a little extra help to get up there. So I pull the chair over, stand on the chair. I could have jumped up there, but I didn't want to make all that noise. So I get out there, and then I get out, and there's all this cypress mulch. My parents had this really nice garden. So I'm there hanging out, and I'm crouched down because, remember, they have this bay window that juts out, and it's about 4.5 feet off the ground because it's a daylight window. So I'm there crouched down, going to the bathroom. Oh, it felt so good. I'm just like, oh, thank you. Going to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. I pop my head up, and thunk, I hit the bay window that my dad's sitting under with my head. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, I gotta get in the window. So we have a screened-in porch. So I look out, the screened-in porch light's coming on. I shimmy back down into the bedroom, scrape my stomach. I was just out there in my boxers, scrape my stomach, shut the window. Just as I do that, I look out, I see my dad pop his head out, and he's looking around, he's looking left and right. And I'm like, oh no. So I like get in the bed. I'm like, is he gonna come down here? I don't know if he's gonna come down here. I hear the basement door that comes down. I hear it open. And I'm like, oh crap. So I run over and open my door. It's all pitch black in the basement. And guess what I say? This was the smoothest move ever. I say to my dad, before he can say anything, I said, did you hear that? He's like, well, I was getting ready to ask you the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it sounded like it was out by the screen-in porch. I don't know what. My dad goes, it sounded like it was under my chair. Like, I said, I don't know, maybe it was a dog or something. I'll keep an eye out. Now, he acted like he didn't know what was going on, but I think he did know what was going on. So I get up the next morning, and I look around, and my entire room is covered. There's a trail from the window to my bed to the front door of my bedroom. Cypress mulch everywhere. It was a mess. So anyway, I snuck upstairs real quick, got the vacuumed it up before they got up, and I had to be to work the next morning at 8. So anyway, guys, that's a real quick growing up with Stonepost. I really appreciate you watching, and take care as always. Well, if you guys made it this far through the video, you have reached legend status as a subscriber. I'm thinking about doing these outros on my videos, just giving you, on the left is my latest Q&A, and then on the right is an old video. Because, once those go back in the archive, they don't get a lot of views. And so I thought, you know what, why not pull some of the good ones out? And if you guys like that, let me know. But I hope you like it. Click on the link, and if you haven't subscribed, do so as well. Take care as always. This is stonepost34.